We are back, much to maybe the chagrin of some of you, but we are back with our second episode of Marketing on Tap. This is my mate Danny Brown, Sam Fiorella here at Sensei Marketing. Today we are talking about, I guess, a timely issue, a timely topic, something that really struck me in the news lately. You've all been following the story, I'm sure, of the Thai soccer players, those students, the teens that got stuck in that cave for, I forget how many days they were stuck in there.
13 days.
13, 14 days. Like the whole world was just riveted to this. And there was obviously a lot of concern, and just today they launched, they announced that they were saved. Fantastic. But what... Unfortunately for us, what caught our attention is some of the negative publicity and how Elon Musk's name got thrown into that. And so that's what we want to talk about today and explore the idea of, is corporate social responsibility or just being cognizant and trying of what's going on in the world, and as a corporation trying to help out, is it worth it anymore? Or is the negativity just too much that's being developed on social media? So that's what we want to focus on today. But first, this is Marketing on Tap, and you guys already know that Danny and I love our craft beer. And today we are actually having one of our favorites.
Great Lakes Brewery, not to be mistaken with the American one.
Right, which I think is in Cincinnati, right?
I think so, yeah. It's the same age, 30 years old.
30 years old, yeah. So, no offense to them, but they're in the United States. I've never tried their beer. But this is Great Lakes Brewery here in, actually they're local to us, they're in Toronto. We've been down there a couple of times. Yeah, we could actually almost walk there. Anyway, so today, again, because it's summer, I don't normally like to drink lighter pale ales or IPAs personally, but this one here is just so fantastic. It's called Canuck Pale Ale. So how perfect is that? I love the marketing of these guys. This one here, I always like to read the back of these cans because the marketing that some of these craft breweries put out, I think, is really clever. These guys in particular, one of my favorites from them is the Harry Porter. Obviously it's got like a wizard on the front as one of their characters. It's one of their better beers, or Over My Dad Bod.
Over My Dad Body Pilsner.
Pilsner.
Yeah.
Pilsner I actually really enjoy in terms of a lighter beer. But it's fantastic because the marketing is really good. And this one here has got a hardy Canadian lumberjack on it. So it says, it's been said that Canada is the only country in the world that knows how to live without an identity, which is actually kind of true. We should probably do that as another.
Yeah.
What is this?
How does Canada market itself?
Yeah. Does it even have anything to market to? What are we just saying? Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Okay, I digressed. I'm sorry. So this one, it says this beer doesn't help much with that. All right, well, I guess being honest is a good marketing tool. From the fiercely irresponsible and stereotypical image of the front of this can to the distinctly American-style beer inside of it, we've really made a mess of things. What have we done?
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. So that's what it says there. There you go. Sorry, so maybe that is about as Canadian as it gets. Anyway, cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Looking forward to this conversation. This one is distinctly more hoppy.
It's a pale ale. It's not an India pale ale, but it's still a pale ale. So
But this one I'm okay. I'm not, that I'm not a fan of the hoppiness, but this, unlike the India pale ale, doesn't have the bitterness that I typically find with an India pale ale. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about, but we do love this beer. Let's get into the topic.
Yeah, sure. So like Elon Musk, he offered one of the submarines that his team's built, like one of the rocket-powered submarines, to go under in a cave and bring the kids out. It was designed, to be submersible, get so many kids on it and bring it through the tunnels. Unfortunately, he turned up at the rescue site, with the stuff, but unfortunately it wasn't compatible for this particular mission.
Yeah.
One of the rescue chiefs loved the idea of help, but it wasn't, really good for this particular mission. So a bunch of people also saw this on Twitter, Facebook, etc. And then the negativity started coming out saying it's just a big PR stunt. Why is Elon Musk even there? He must have known it wouldn't be ready for this mission, etc., etc. You did have some people supporting him, saying, well, the guy's doing something, what are you doing? You know, so there's like a bit back and forth, and I guess the topic is, was it perceived as a good deed, pure and simple, because it's Elon Musk, or was it because it's Elon Musk, he's thinking a way to brand Tesla and his company products, right?
Yeah, and it's a real shame. The cynicism, and mind you, in my old age, I'm becoming pretty cynical myself, so I guess I really shouldn't be calling anybody out, but it is a shame on just the amount of cynicism that we have fostered as a community. And I don't know if that's because of social media just highlighted what was already there, I don't know, but it really is a shame because this is something he did. So, you know, again, the story, within 24, 48 hours, he had designed, tested, and delivered this little mini submarine. Now, yeah, they could barely get a little kid through this, so how are they going to strap a submarine onto his back or whatever jet-propelled, you know, Jetsons type of device that he did? So I think that's one of the reasons why, like, it was just so inappropriate for the situation. I could understand why there was this backlash. Oh, this is really just a publicity stunt. But there are so many companies that have done this sort of thing, and it's worked for them. You know, why is it that this one didn't work? What is there a trust factor there, like, or is it just because we're cynical and no matter what anybody does, that's going to be the way it is?
I think it's a bit of both. I mean, I think with this one, I mean, Elon Musk has had a bit of a hard time the last, 6 to 12 months, I guess, like trying to deliver on the Tesla model, for example, failing there, telling investors they didn't know what they were talking about, that kind of stuff. So he's had a bit of negative publicity himself, and I think the fact that he turned up at the site, it's an ongoing rescue mission. He's maybe not qualified to obviously be part of a rescue mission. Maybe it's the fact that it was so personal, perceived as in your face, that, and because of the kind of character that Elon Musk is, he can be a bit of a divisive character.
Well, and I think this reminds me, actually I took some, when we decided earlier today to talk about this, I recalled a note that I had just written for one of our clients. We were developing a corporate social responsibility plan. And I had a note for that meeting it was actually an article you had sent me from a study done by Brand Generosity. Do people trust corporate social responsibilities? And one of the interesting things that I saw in that is that 1/3 of the people that were surveyed said that national businesses will not ever be part of the community. They're never going to be accepted because there's this trust in you're a big business. Yet 45% of those same people surveyed said we need corporate dollars to sustain these local efforts. And what I got from reading that study was that there's a trust issue. And so my question to you is, I think what I'd like to be able to sort of do with these conversations is, can we find, which is what we always do, if we were going to do this campaign, how would we have done it differently? If we were Elon Musk, and we were their marketing company, what would we have done differently? Right, that's usually what we do. A little bit more curse words in there, and I don't know if we want to go down that path. Although maybe another couple of beers, we'll see how that goes. But what I would have done differently is not had Elon Musk himself presented. In my mind, if the corporate social responsibility is a byproduct of the staff getting together and doing something. I think it would come across a lot more authentically than, let's say, the brand itself saying we are going to do a corporate social responsibility, save the lakes, save the forest type of campaign. Because then I think just the fact that people are so cynical today, I find it's really hard for anybody to ever overcome that, and it's just fraught with risk. So that would most likely be my recommendation. I know, for those of you that don't know, the charity that we run, the Friendship Bench, Distinct Infrastructure Group, they do their annual ride for mental health awareness, right? That's something that they're doing next week, actually. They're going to be doing their 3rd motorcycle ride. Now, that's an initiative started by one of the employees, the VP of sales. He's a big rider, and him and his friends get together every summer. They do some type of tour someplace, and so let's raise some money while we're doing it. So I think that's coming across really, really well, because it isn't the company that's doing it, it's the staff that got together and did it. So I don't know, what do you think? Is that a better way to do it, to overcome the cynicism?
It's definitely a better way. It comes back to, again, if you think about influence marketing, it comes back to relevance to your campaign. So if you class the good deed as a campaign, the relevance comes in. You wouldn't want, for example, Joe Butcher's to be sponsoring a local park for vegans, or where vegans go to relax. It just wouldn't make sense. There's no. One of the companies I used to work for was an agency of the Ontario government, OLG.
Yeah.
And the good work that they did was all staff driven. So the executives would open up the program ideas, the staff would come back with ideas relevant to their communities, and then that built the trust up, for that. So I think, the trust has to be there. It has to make sense that it's not seen as a corporate tax write-off, and this is why we're doing it. And I think if you have a connection to the community or a connection to the cause, much like Dig has with the friendship page, that makes a huge difference. And people see it's being done for the right reason, as opposed to trying to get Dig, new customers, for example, or anything like that. Yeah,
and I think that's the really good thing. I mean, and certainly Dig does put their logo on it, but I haven't seen any negative backlash for that. But again, because it was the guys writing it, it isn't a corporate initiative. So I don't know if that's it. Is there any other is there any other way that we may want to consider doing something like this again if this was our client, other than encouraging the staff to do it? Anything else that maybe we want to?
Well, I think the main thing, one of the things, it's not even from a marketing point of view, but from a CSR point of view, is reaching out through the back channels and organising. I'm sure Elon Musk went through the back channels and spoke to the. I'm going to assume he spoke to the rescuers as opposed to just turning up with his rocket ship boat.
Well, you know what though? If he did, would he have showed up with his little rocket-powered, submarine? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a good set. Going back to influence marketing, what I would say is don't promote it yourself. Allow somebody else to promote it. Mm-hmm. So do it quietly, and if it works, then the media will pick it up and will give you all kudos.
Exactly.
And I think that's one way to cut through the cynicism, because you yourself are not showing up there with fanfare and spotlights, fashion lights on you, and a bunch of cheerleaders behind you with pom-poms and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's another great idea. Just do it quietly, and if it works, the media will sort of take care of the PR that you might have wanted anyway out of it.
And especially when you have a certain brand, level like that.
The other thing is, I think one of the challenges right now is that there's a discrepancy, just in some of the news that I've been reading with CSR campaigns that have failed, so CSR being corporate social responsibility. Is that there's a disconnect between the brand or the reputation of the brand and the what they're trying to do.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So I've seen a company, you're trying to save the forest, yet you're a polluter of the forest, or you don't have any conservation campaigns running inside your own corporate offices to save paper, yet you're publicly trying to save the forest.
Yeah.
And I'm just making that up as an example, just to show, but I've seen so many of these types of cases. So I think, again, it goes into trust. Do you really need to be a social business? I think that's what it comes down to, right?
Yeah, you have to. It comes down to your makeup as a business. Your culture has to be from the ground up.
Yeah.
Since you were started, this is what we stand for. Obviously you can change your mind a little bit down the road and take on causes that mean something to you because of something that happened in your life or something.
Right.
But it has to be, inherently part of your company culture that you stand for this or you support this, to actually, put it out there and show you are a company, a good corporate company.
Well, the Elon Musk case is that an example of reverse slacktivism?
Yeah, and I think that's what annoyed me the most, because I did a 12K charity back in 2009 or whatever, and we got accused of slacktivism because we were asking, donate what you can, and if you can't donate, share our message, and we had so-called charity consultants tell us off because we weren't asking for the big bucks, so we were doing little shares and stuff. But it worked. We got great awareness, we got great funds for the charities we were doing, but then, I think it's an insult to anybody that's trying to do something to call them slacktivists, because they're doing, what are you doing? You're sitting there complaining about someone, what are you actually doing to the program? And this is like reverse slacktivism, where if you keep complaining about people doing good things, whether it's to raise their profile, they're doing something, they're trying to help, then they stop helping, and then where are we?
Well, I'm getting the bell here for last call on this topic. So, your final thought on this? What takeaway do we have from this example?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, if you're going to do something like this, make sure that it's wanted and welcomed by the people you're trying to help.
First.
Exactly, first, and do it through the back channels, like we mentioned, and try to get a feel for what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then, you know, celebrate the win after you have the win of rescuing the kids or whatever the deed is, you know, for that particular opportunity.
Right. I think then, for me, the takeaway would then again be don't do it yourself. I just want to reiterate, I think, a point that we came up in our conversation earlier, which was let's encourage your staff to come up with something, but allow them to actually organize it, run it, and then promote it, as opposed to it becoming an actual part of your campaign. You can hire a company to help the staff do that if they don't have the organizational skills to do it or the resources to do it,
Right.
but let it be something that is generated by them, run by them, and I think it'll go a lot further. So anyway, that's I think our time for today. For those of you watching on video, thank you. For those of you listening, wherever you're listening, join us again next week for another 15-minute conversation with a couple of craft brewers. Yeah, always important. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, guys.